Okay, so today's topic is why accountability is the secret to avoiding disappointment. So let me ask you, have you ever set up goals, lost track of them because life got in the way, and at the end of it went, where did time go? And I have not achieved what I expected. What I'm going to say to you is chances are you have not set up an effective accountability process. So we're going to talk through how you can set up such a powerful accountability process with another person that you are destined to win and to avoid disappointment. And winning isn't always hitting your target, that is the ultimate, but winning is often who you become and what you learn in the process. So we're going to talk a little bit about what does success look like. Okay, so my name is Suzanne Hart and welcome to Mindset Mastery. Our topic today is accountability and how to avoid disappointment. Now, what we're going to talk about is how do you set up a powerful process so you could win in the accountability game. So how many of you have set up an accountability process and was disappointed because you were either disappointed with your partner or you found yourself chasing your partner and being frustrated because you were charged with holding them accountable, or they just couldn't hold you accountable and you were like, this is really not working, and the accountability process breaks down and is no longer effective. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why that happens. So the first thing we've got to do is we have got to define the word accountability. And oftentimes people think of accountability and they say, well, this is when someone makes me do what I said I'm going to do. Now listen to the language. They make me do what I said I'm going to do. They remind me of doing what I said I'm going to do. But the question is that really possible? So the first thing about accountability is I like to define it as being willing and prepared to account for your ability, account for your greatness. Now, this is what is interesting about this. When we set a goal, the goal is designed to draw our greatness out of us. And so oftentimes why we ask people to hold us accountable is the moment you set a goal, oftentimes you meet resistance, challenge, struggle, I don't know, chaos, and life comes down your street. But that is designed for you to begin to recognize who you are destined to be. Because the minute we step into something bigger than ourselves, we have these things called breakdowns, we have these things called challenges. But if you're willing to work through the process, you are required to dig deeper and you find a new level of brilliance. So you are accounting for this thing called your ability. And it's often abilities and ways of being and talents and resourcefulness and treasures that we don't know. That's what it means to be accountable. Hello, Dawn. Welcome, welcome. Does that make sense to everybody? So if it makes sense, go, oh, I see that. Teresa's like, oh my God, yes. I used to get frustrated with the accountability process. So to account for your ability is to be willing to engage in a process where you learn about yourself and you account for a new level of brilliance that you didn't know existed. Are you willing to mind the gap so you can find that new level of ability? So it's to account for your greatness. So that's the first thing I want to talk to you about. Now, notice I didn't say is for someone else to account for your greatness. I said it's for you to account for your greatness. That's what accountability is to engage into a process where you are willing to be held accountable to finding the next best level of yourself, your newest level of ability, your newest level of greatness. So that's the first thing. So it's putting us, so I wanted to put those on the same page. I love it. Cindy's saying, yes, I get it. So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing that people can often ask me, well, when I have an accountability partner, can someone else hold me accountable? Now, this is a great question. I was just having this discussion with my sister because she's visiting, and she was like, of course someone else can hold you accountable. And I was like, nope, no one else can hold you accountable. So this is what I want you to think of. Who on the planet do you have control over? Who do you have control over, truly? The one person you have control over is the person you see in the mirror. So when you engage in an accountability process where you say, I'm going to hold you accountable, That's an impossibility because I have no control over Taria. I have no control over Dawn. I have no control over Cindy. So if I was to engage in an accountability process where I'm going to say, I'm going to hold you accountable, it's like me saying, I'm going to control what you do and the choices you make. It's an impossibility. But this is what happens, and this is why I call it an accountability process. And it's not my job to hold you accountable. So when you engage in accountability, what the person does for you is they hold up a mirror and they reflect back to you who you're being. And are you being your word? Are you doing what you say you're going to do when challenged, when frustrated, when life comes down your street? Their job is to reflect back to you in that moment who you are being. And their responsibility is to work with you to help you reset yourself so you're in alignment with what you're committed to achieving. So in other words, you recommit to being the person that can actually choose the actions that are going to get you to achieve what you want. That's an accountability process. But this is the thing I want you to get. When I reflect back to Taria or when I reflect back to Cindy, who they're being, all I'm doing is holding up the mirror. They get to be accountable in that moment. And they get to say, I get it. Let me reset and get back on track so I can account for my ability. So the reality is no one can hold us accountable. The best your accountability partner can do is hold up the mirror and say, this is who you're being right now. And you get to powerfully choose. I'm being who I'm supposed to be in order to get to my goals, or I'm so off track. Let me reset, let me course correct, let me realign, let me ask my accountability some great questions so I can reset myself. Okay, so I love that Tria saying the first time I heard you explain this accountability, I was blown away. Absolutely, most people are. So no one can hold you accountable. So when you engage in an accountability process, I want you to consider that you're asking someone, can you reflect back to me who I am being so that I can reset myself, I can put myself in a position where I can win so that I can account for my own greatness. That's really what you're asking them to do. So what makes accountability work and how do you set it up so you can win? So I'm going to give you some tricks and tools that I have learned. So one is we all know what accountability is. It's to account for your ability, to account for your greatness. The second thing we have now established is the only person that can hold you accountable is you. And the person who is your accountability partner is reflecting back to you who you're choosing to be as you go through the process in that moment. Your job is to receive the feedback and reset and realign your way of being so that it allows you to execute the behaviors, the habits, the thoughts, the attitude that gets you where you're going. That's their job. So how does this work? So the first thing in order for it to work, and this is where most people don't do the prep work. Let's lay the foundation for accountability to happen. So the first thing that you want to ask a person is, what's your vision, right? Where are you going? What is your vision? And you want to figure out and find out what's that person's vision for themselves? What's their long-term goals? So that's the first thing, putting you guys on the same page. So if you're an accountability partner, you tell them what their vision, they tell you what their vision is, and you tell them what your vision is. So people now clear. The second thing you've got to find out are what are your goals? So you're going to have to ask the person, what are your goals? And now you each outline your goals. And I want you to be specific and measurable. Remember, a goal without a number is just a dream. So you're really establishing your goals. How much by when? What am I going to achieve and when am I going to achieve it? The other thing you want to ask them is not only what am I going to achieve and when am I going to achieve it, but what's it going to look like when I get there? What am I going to feel like? What is it going to look like? What am I going to be doing? What are going to be my behaviors? You want to specify it because you really want to put your accountability partner on the same page so that you guys are actually moving towards the same thing. Like in her mind, she's saying, I'm holding you accountable to getting to point A, and there you're saying this is what point A looks like. So now you are on the same page. Third thing you want to ask your accountability partner is, what's your plan? Tell me your plan to get there. What are you going to do? Right? So now you both lay out your plan. When you do that, now you're on the same page. You haven't moved, you haven't done anything. You're just making sure that each of you are on the same page, having the same expectations, and you're in alignment in terms of, I understand what you're saying when you say, this is my goal, this is my vision, and this is my plan. So you want to ask each other questions. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. Every week when you meet, you say, what are you going to do to execute a portion of your plan? And again, specific and measurable. This is what I'm going to accomplish this week to move me from point A to point B in my plan. And your plan may have like 10 steps. So from step 1 to step 2, this is what I'm going to do this week. Perfect. Now you're all on the same page. You know exactly what you're going to do. So then you go off and you execute, or you don't execute, or you partially execute, or you execute and you get stuck. Whatever it is, you execute, okay? When you guys come back, this is where accountability happens. It is like the reporting in. So if Cherie is my accountability partner, so what happens is Cherie will report to me what she did and what she accomplished. Now, that's what she reports, right? She may have hit her target, she may have fallen short, she may have whatever. And I'm going to reflect back to her what she told me. Okay, so you said you did A, B, and C, but you didn't get to D, right? And I might ask her, so what prevented you from getting to D? And she might say, you know what? Oh my gosh, the week was so busy. There was so much going on. I didn't plan it properly, da 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 da. I'm going to listen, and my sole job is to figure out what can I tell my accountability partner so they can actually be present to who they're being. So I might say, well, did you manage your time well? Actually, I didn't. So what are you going to do to manage your time differently? What was it about the situation that challenged you? I didn't know how to do A, B, and C. Let's brainstorm about how you can figure out how to do A, B, and C. All my job is to reflect back, ask my accountability partner great questions so they can actually either be seeking the information they need, they might be going after the information they need, but my job is to let them see what's going on for them and to help them reset. It is not for me to chase her down and say, you got to get this done. That is not accountability to me, because I am not going to chase you down, because now if I'm chasing you down, I'm not serving you, because accountability is an internal process. It is your ability to master your emotions, master your thoughts, master your personal self-talk, right? Your internal dialogue, so you can execute the behaviors that get you what you want in the face of challenge, chaos, crazy, ups and downs, I don't know, frustration, all those different things. My job is to help you be the person that can navigate that. The only responsibility I have to you is to ask you great questions so you can see who you're being in the face of life circumstances. And this is the powerful thing. Once I ask you questions and you see who you're being, you now get to choose. And this is where accountability actually happens. I have helped you create awareness of who you're being, what got you off track, what maybe you didn't know, what you might have to do differently. I'm going to give you opportunities to ask questions. And now you get to choose excuses, course correction, and new action. Those are the choices. Some people will choose excuses. Some people will choose avoidance. Some people will choose I don't know. Some people may choose this is too hard. That's their choice. A person who's willing to be accountable will say, okay, I've got to go find an answer for this. I got to adjust my attitude. They're going to choose whatever it takes to realign them. But notice I'm not choosing for them. I am just the mirror and I'm saying, this is who you're being. This is the blind spot. This is what you didn't do. This is where you got stuck. What are you going to do? And now they get to choose. We can brainstorm. I can give them ideas. But at the end of the day, accountability is their own thing. They are the one who gets to powerfully choose who they're going to be, how they're going to course correct, how they're going to grow in order to reset and keep moving. The next week, we repeat the same thing. Now, this is the really cool thing about being accountable and being an accountability partner. The tough part about being an accountability partner is holding someone accountable to when they're not being their word consistently and persistently. My job is not to chase you. My job is not to make you be your word. My job is to ask you if you're willing to be your word. To me, if you're not, we're going to bless and release. We're going to end the process, because if you're not engaged in the process, there's nothing I can do. If you're not willing to be accountable for who you're being, there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to chase you down every week and ask you why you didn't do what you said you're going to do. I'm not going to make you feel bad for not doing what you said you were going to do. I'm not going to try and make you do anything. I'm going to ask you, are you willing to course correct? And if you're consistently not, we don't have an accountability process because you're not engaged in accountability. That's the difference. A person's not engaged. So I'm going to bless and release you, and I'm going to go about my way, and maybe I'll find another accountability partner. Now, what's powerful about this is that oftentimes we engage in accountability, and I've done it with no responsibility. I want you guys to get this. Engaging in accountability with no responsibility. Accountability and responsibility are partners, right? So I can show you how you're being, but are you willing to be 100% responsible, which is one of the mindset mastery principles? Are you willing to be 100% responsible for who you're being and shift, right? If you're not, then you're not engaged in an accountability process with me. If I'm not willing to be 100% responsible for the feedback I'm given and course correct, I'm not engaged in an accountability process. It's a two-way thing. The beauty of accountability when it's done well is it forces us to grow. It forces us to become more. It forces us to manage our emotions. It forces us to look at our attitude. It forces us to be present to how we're thinking when life doesn't go the way we want it. It forces us to look at how we meet challenge, how we meet disappointment, how we meet the highs, the lows, the difficulties in life. It forces us to come face to face with what? Who we're being in the face of circumstances. That is what makes accountability so powerful. It is when you and I are willing to look at who we're being, learn from it, adjust, and become better, bolder, more, grow. That is an accountability process. Now, for me, when I set this up well, magic happens in my life. I achieve things, I figure things out, I learn, I research, I do whatever it takes to get where I want to go. Now, this is the other part. Accountability, the beauty of it is people think it's about hitting your target. And yes, that is the pierce the resistance, if you will. But the real gift in accountability is the successes. Now, I define success as not hitting your target, but as it's the who you become on the journey. So in my world, success is what I learned. What did I overcome? What challenge did I bounce back from? How did I grow? How much joy I had? How fulfilled I am? How much fun I had? Those are how I measure successes, right? Success is a being for me. It's an experience. Hitting the target is getting to where I want, having grown, having become more, having enjoyed the journey, and having stopped to learn the lessons on the journey. That's what success is. Hitting the target is hitting the target. And this is why this is so important. Have you ever gone on a journey, did something, and realized I became less? I don't like who I was being. I didn't like the journey. I got there and it was empty and meaningless. I lost so much along the way. That is because you didn't have a clear accountability process in place. And you went on the journey so focused on getting somewhere that you didn't look at who am I being, who am I becoming on the journey. Then we have moments where you might have gone on a journey, set a target, and it was hard. It was challenging. You grew. You had fun. You became proud of who you were required to become. And you got there so excited about what you achieved and who you became. And who you became is more important than hitting the target. That's when you're engaged in a powerful accountability process. And you become the gift to yourself and a gift to other people. So let me look at what you guys are taking away. So I see, Tria, great way to define success. Thank you so very much. Lots of love. I love it. Thank you. Chrissy Anderson, welcome, welcome. Tria's writing, oh my goodness. Accountability and responsibility go hand in hand. Yes, they do. Let's see. Cindy's talking about control myself. Yeah, Cindy, the only person you and I have control over is a person we see in the mirror. So when you and I try to spend our time, and we all do it, trying to control other people or other things, it is an activity in frustration. That's why most people find accountability so challenging, because they're looking at the wrong thing. I'm supposed to be looking at me. The other person's supposed to be looking at who they're being. And our only job is, what do you see when I hold the mirror up and I reflect back to you who you're being? Awesome. Yeah, I love it. You know, Tria's good at put accountability to account for your ability. What else? All right. So Richard, hello, how are you? So this is what I want to leave you guys with, and we're coming in, and why I wanted to do this at this point in time is we're like at the midpoint of the year. We're at the midpoint of 6 months have gone. We're in our 7th month, and we're in the tail end of the year. And you know, many of us are going, where did 2020, where did the year go, right? Where 2020 go? What happened? And we've been challenged and stretched with all the things that have gone. It's like 2020 started with a bang, and it was highs, lows, ups and downs. It was the year of the unexpected. And so what I want you to leave you with is to ask yourself, who have I been being in the first 6 months of the year? Have I been being the person that will achieve the goals and live into the vision I casted for myself for 2020? If not, this is an opportunity for you to stop, redefine your vision, revisit your goals, course correct, and set up a powerful accountability process. As you do so, I want you to choose someone and define what you're looking for. I'm looking for someone who's going to hold a mirror up to me and tell me and show me who I am being. Help me see my blind spots. Help me know when I'm sitting in excuses. Help me understand when I'm living small. Let me see when I'm out of integrity. Help me celebrate my successes, and help me figure out where I need to grow and who I need to become in order to achieve my goals. That's what I'm looking for. Find that person, and then define your vision, define your goals, lay out an action plan, and every week say, this is what I'm doing this week. Please let me know who I'm being, and give me the feedback I'm required to receive in order to meet my best self and to be accountable for my ability, my brilliance, and then go from week to week in that process. I guarantee that if you do that, you will not miss disappointment. You will not meet disappointment for two reasons. One is there's a high likelihood that you will hit your target. You will increase that likelihood. But the second thing is you will learn so much about yourself. You will grow so much that even if you don't hit your target on the day you said, you will hit it in the very near future. But you will be so excited about who you are being and who you see your where you see your potential, that you will be pulled into action. You will be excited about the accountability process. You and an accountability partner will have such great, juicy conversations that no one will be chasing anybody, and you both will be talking about your growth, your expansion, how bold you are, how much bigger you're playing the game. It will ignite you. And the second half of the year will be like, oh my gosh, look at who we're being. I didn't know I had this in me. I didn't know this person existed. You will feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And you will go into 2021 excited to set goals. Why? Because you will have a new relationship with yourself in relation to goals, vision casting, planning, and this process called accountability and responsibility. All right. So with that, everyone, I am going to wrap right here. I'm going to leave you with that challenge. Thank you so very much for joining. Do we have any new feedback? Arlette, I love it. Hello, welcome. And she's saying, getting to your target, but learning about yourself and the journey. Be mindful of this. Thank you. Great share. I love it. Right? And so I'm going to leave you guys with this, and I'm going to check in, and I'd love to get your feedback. Now, I got so caught up, I didn't even tell you guys about the gift for tonight. So let me tell you, your gift for showing up is a Mindset Mastery mini course. So what is Mindset Mastery? We know that chaos, crisis, change, and challenge is a given, right? But we're talking about accountability tonight. And so part of being accountable is really getting an awareness of how you are mastering your thinking, right? So when things influence, when life comes down your street, how do you manage your thoughts so that you keep moving? How do you manage the emotions that come up? And I call it living in the presence of your emotions, so that your emotions don't choose your next step. You actually respond rather than react, and you manage your emotions. How do you manage the conversations that are running in the background so you have positive conversations that keep you moving? And how does that translate into great habits, great actions, and powerful behaviors? That is Mindset Mastery. So the Mindset Mastery mini course is really giving you an awareness of your thinking, your personal communication, and your emotional mastery. It'll bring you through that journey and set you up for taking actions that will move you forward. How you get this, there's a few ways. One is you can go into the description of this Mindset Mastery session, right? And there's a link there. If you press that, you can register for the mini course. If you put Mastermind, in the comments section, you will get a notice in Messenger. Go complete that, register for the mini course. You can also have an opportunity to register for Mindset Mastery Moment, right? With a mentoring moment with Suzanne. I will give you 20 to 30 minutes of my time. We can continue this conversation. And if you're having a challenge with accountability, let's set you up for success right now. All right, so you can do that by putting Mastermind in the comment section. And I know Tria is going to put the link in the comment section, so you can also just register it through this process. My goal for you is, and my desire for you is, that as you go into the next part of 2020, that you do everything possible to set yourself up for success. Now, we are a group of people that are really focused taught to focus on our education, our IQ, our skills, our talent, learning more, getting more experience, taking another course. What Mindset Mastery does is it focuses on the most important thing, the person who shows up in the mirror every day. This is about who you're being. This is about you getting an awareness of who am I being in the world. This is about the beginning of this accountability process. So why I love Mindset Mastery is this is about your emotional intelligence, your ability to master yourself in the face of challenge, in the face of chaos, in the face of disappointment, in the face of the unknown, in the face of the ups and downs. It's how you manage what's going on in your head so you can be the person you're required to be to fulfill on every challenge. So put mastermind in the comments section, go to the link, fill it out, register for the mini course, and definitely give me some feedback on what you're learning. Again, thank you so much for joining tonight. My name is Suzanne Hart, and this was your Mindset Mastery session. Take care. I will be back here 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week, Thursday. I have a very, very, very special guest, Mr. Sabir Chawala. He is the founder of Century 21 in office in Toronto, and he's going to share his journey through the past few months, what has occurred, his disappointments, his lows, and it's going to surprise you, and how he has bounced back and is beginning to recover. You do not want to miss this interview. Again, my name is Suzanne Hart. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for the past 30 minutes. Stay blessed, and I will see you back here next week. Take care.